Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Welcome to the Accelerated Health TV and Radio Show. I'm your host, Sara Banta. I'm a wife, a busy mom of 3, and the founder of the cutting edge and award-winning supplement brand Accelerated Health Products. This podcast is more than just a source of information. It's a community for you and those looking to optimize their health. I release new episodes every Monday and Tuesday live and a bonus one on Thursdays. So remember to subscribe and add to your playlist so you never miss a show. And join my free health group coaching on Telegram. It's an extension of these podcasts, and you can ask your questions. Wait, what did you say? I need to catch that, and I need to learn more about what you got into on the podcast. That's where you can ask those questions. There's no downside. The details can be found on my website, sarabantahealth.com. My goal is to reach everyone who needs me with my message of healing. So help me with this goal. Share this podcast with friends and loved ones, and together we can empower each other on our journey to optimal health. Today we are talking about energy. Who doesn't need more energy? I say that. However, I'm 48 years old and I have way more energy with all that's on my plate than I did in college or even in high school. And I just wish I had it back then. I would have been so much better at everything I did, sports and school and all of that. But it's never too late, right? And if you're in your 70s, you can still improve your energy. So let's get into this. Our bodies are meant to have energy fueled by nutrition, but instead many people find themselves exhausted eating food that's not translating into energy. Like there's this chasm between eating the food and then it's not getting to that energy. So what do? We eat more food thinking it's going to help us get that energy. But what's the missing link? There's not just one thing. There's many factors that cause that chronic fatigue. So fatigue is that persistent, almost nagging sense of being worn out no matter how much sleep you get. It's not just about feeling tired after a long day. It's a deeper, more pervasive exhaustion that affects every part of you. So you wake up from a full night's sleep, you still feel like you could crawl back in bed, sleep for more hours. That's fatigue. The symptoms can vary from person to person, but there are some common things like you can't focus on tasks, your brain is feeling like it's in a fog, even simple decisions or just those everyday chores, marketing, doing the laundry, all of that. It seems overwhelming. Your muscles might feel heavy. You might struggle with headaches or muscle aches. Some people experience just irritability or mood swings. Of course they do, because they're stressed that they have no energy and then they snap when someone brings something up, right? So this is all very common, but it's not fun and it's not optimal. Fatigue can also make you feel unmotivated or less interested in things that you enjoy because you're just so tired. You might notice that you're more prone to mistakes. It takes longer time to get things done. It's this overall sense of not having enough fuel. Like your battery pack is not there. It's dead. It's like the battery that it's the rechargeable battery that gets less and less juice from every charge. And it's very, very frustrating. And then that can cause depression, which then can cause more fatigue. And we'll get into that cycle in a minute. So we're in a new world of threats causing chronic fatigue. So it's not just those few people that have chronic fatigue syndrome from 20 years ago. It's almost like we all do. It's not a simple equation of that sleep factor and eating more. At the cellular level, and we talked about ATP last week, fatigue is linked to low ATP, the cellular energy that's in the mitochondria. So when addressing energy, you need to address mitochondrial health. We are only as healthy as our mitochondria. That is why when mitochondria die, we die. That is where you want to look to see how long you're going to live, how many wrinkles you're going to have, how's your hair growing, and just the daily tasks. So it's not just short-term energy, it's long-term lifespan. So what are the causes? Number one, iodine deficiency. Iodine deficiency is the top cause of mitochondrial failure. Instead of producing 36 units of ATP in the mitochondria, so that's the energy in the mitochondria, is the powerhouse of the cells. With sufficient iodine, they don't have iodine, they can only manage to get 2. So 36 or 2, that's quite a bit of a difference. This drastic reduction means way less energy at the cellular level. So no amount of caffeine or monster drinks are going to bring up that ATP and replace that true deep cellular energy. Inside the cell, iodine helps boost that energy and metabolism, reduce inflammation, clear out the toxins like fluoride, bromide, chlorine, lead, mercury, xenoestrogens, radiation from the cells. And then on the outside of the cells, iodine helps fight off things like the pathogens, supporting liver detox, balancing hormones, the estrogen progesterone equation, easing symptoms linked to spike protein exposure, regulating blood sugar levels. Now, the spike protein has really taken chronic fatigue to a whole nother level. And part of the reason is it's spiking up all of this viral activity, including Epstein-Barr virus, which is linked to fatigue. That is showing up in everybody. I've had my whole family scanned within the last month. Every single person has Epstein-Barr virus a little more active than it should be. We all have it in our system, but typically it's dormant. Unless you're stressed or something activates it, well, that spike protein is doing a job and bringing that up. And there's a lot of other virals that are becoming activated by that spike protein. So your body is having to do a lot of work to fight those viruses, and it's working over here. Well, when you are fighting off viruses and your immune system's working hard, it doesn't have the energy to give you the energy to go for a run or go to the gym or just do life. So it does take down that energy. Then you have hypothyroidism. No mystery that fatigue is a symptom of hypothyroidism. It's this never-ending sense of exhaustion that just doesn't go away. And when you have hypothyroidism, there's this thing called thyrostress, meaning that you're stressed over the fact that you have hypothyroidism and it's not going away. It's not like having the flu and knowing, okay, well, at least in 3 days, I know I'm going to feel better. You just don't know if you're ever going to feel better again. So you get depressed and it's stressful. And that stress will make your thyroid hormones go in the wrong direction as well. So in typical hypothyroidism, you're not producing enough thyroid hormones. Your body's metabolism slows down. So yes, you're going to gain weight. Yes, your hair falls out. But what else slows down? Your energy, your bowel movements. You might be constipated. Your lymph slows down. You retain water. You can't take your rings off your finger. And that is going to also cause more stress. And that is where, so the T4, inactive thyroid hormone, is supposed to convert into free T3. It's either not effectively converting into the active T3 or it's converting into reverse T3. And the more stress you have over your thyroid not working, it's going to even backfire more, converting more into that reverse T3, because stress is going to cause that. What happens when you are stressed? I actually had a talk with my kids about this last night, is that if you're stressed about something, your body doesn't know if you're being chased by a tiger, if you're going to have a famine for 6 months, or if you're stressed about school. Doesn't matter. Doesn't know, right? It just knows stress. So what does it do? Shuts down the metabolism, shuts down the thyroid, turns the T4 into reverse T3, and that's going to lead to fatigue, slow down the metabolism, lead to unexplained weight gain, and all of those symptoms. This means your cells are not getting the energy they need to function properly. You have thyroid hormone receptor sites on every single cell. So if your cells are not getting those proper thyroid hormones, it's not going to function properly. And we are only as healthy as our cells. Now, when I was talking about iodine, I talked about iodine, its need to increase ATP inside the cell and cleanse the blood on the outside of the cell. But it actually has a value of the cell membrane. We will be talking about Jess Kane in a couple weeks over the cell's membrane health. And it has an iodo-lipid value made up of two different fats, saturated and unsaturated fats in that biolipid layer, but each layer has an iodine value. So if you don't have enough iodine in your body, there's not enough iodine for that cell membrane to let the nutrients in and the toxins out. The toxins are slowing everything down, causing fatigue, causing everything to be sluggish, increasing chronic disease. And the nutrients are what your cells need to be vibrant and vital. So if you can't get things in or things out, that's a big problem. So this is where if you have hypothyroidism, you're not going to be able to walk up the stairs easily. You're just tired. You have brain fog. It's hard to remember things. You find yourself feeling more forgetful. It can be very frustrating. And then it will mess with your mood because, of course, you're going to be depressed and stressed. Not a good combination. Depressed and stressed is going to cause that reverse T3 to increase even more. So you want to address your thyroid health when it comes to energy. It is the master endocrine gland. It affects your adrenals. It affects your ovaries and testes. It addresses everything. It can address your libido. There's that HPT axis, hypothalamus pituitary thyroid axis, HPA, adrenal axis, and the HPG, gonads. So the adrenals, thyroid, and gonads, or your sex organs, are all related. And your adrenals are your battery pack. So if you're overly stressed, that chronic stress is going to cause your adrenals to really deplete that cortisol, which is actually a good stress hormone. That cortisol gets you out of bed in the morning and it falls down at the end of the day so you can go to sleep. But if your adrenals are burnt out, because you're so tired and you're so stressed over your tiredness or your hypothyroidism, then there's no battery pack. And then so there's no battery pack to support your thyroid, vice versa. And the adrenals also sit on top of your kidneys. So if the adrenals are burnt out, the kidneys are going to inflame and retain more water, and everything gets more sluggish. So it's a vicious cycle. Xenoestrogens. These are compounds that mimic estrogen in the body, not the good estrogen. The good estrogen is estradiol. This is mimicking the bad estrogens and mess with your hormonal balance. That's causing estrogen dominance in men and women, young and old. I've seen it in young girls, making their periods worse, causing acne, causing just an imbalance of everything. I've seen it in menopausal women where their symptoms are even worse because of that excess estrogen to progesterone ratio. So these xenoestrogens are in our food, water, environment, thanks to herbicides, pesticides, microplastics, parabens, the GMOs, glyphosate, all of that stuff. It not only disrupts the mitochondria, leads to diseases, lower energy, and weight gain, and your body tries to protect itself by storing these toxins in fat cells. So fat cells are a survival mechanism. They're a good thing. We take in these toxins, body's got to get them out of the blood, so it stores them in fat cells, making the fat cells bigger and then eventually making new fat cells, which leads to more exhaustion and weight gain, because if these fat cells are stuffed with these toxins, there's no room for that good energy from the food that we're eating, the clean food that we're eating, to get in. So you might become insulin resistant just from the toxins, not even from the sugar you're eating, because the insulin then will try to bring in some glucose into the cell. The cell says, nope, I'm stuffed with xenoestrogens and all of these toxins. I don't have any room. So, that it's not just about sugar when we're talking about insulin resistance. Yes, sugar makes it worse. Okay, radiation, whether it's non-ionizing or ionizing sources, these cell phones that are literally appendages to our body that no one lets go of, me included, that radiation is ramping up insulin resistance, oxidative stress, DNA damage, and wreaking havoc on the nervous system, endocrine, and hormonal system. It causes fatigue, slows down your metabolism, boosts fat storage, reduces ATP production, and you're low on energy. I literally get blurry vision when I'm looking at my phone too long. And when I'm looking at my computer too long, my big computer, it really affects my vision. It affects my brain. So I have to do just short bits at a time. Now, I mentioned stress, but in general, what is stress doing to our bodies? Okay, so you've got leaky gut. Stress is causing that leaky gut, allowing endotoxins to flood your system, mess up with nutrient absorption, and that is needed for the ATP production. Reverse T3, which we talked about, stress prompts the body to convert that T4 into reverse T3. Visceral fat, this is the dangerous fat around your belly because your body's in survival mode. It's saying we need to protect those expensive organs around our midsection. It's okay if we lose an arm or a leg, but we don't want to lose a heart or our liver or our kidneys, anything like that. So that visceral fat is there to protect it, and that chronic stress is releasing cortisol, and that's leading to that belly fat buildup and lowering ATP. And like I said, stress alone, away from sugar, away from the other toxins that we talked about, increases insulin resistance, making it harder to manage blood sugar and causing your body to store more fat and lose energy. Dirty liver. You guys, this is why I say you gotta love your liver. And even the young kids, because their livers are under attack so much more than when we were young, they've got to love their liver. I've had my kids do my liver flushes. They can do it. Any kid can do it, and they feel great. So this is the problem. Your liver is the main detox organ, synthesizing the estrogen binding protein. But if it's overloaded with toxins, it can't function properly. It struggles with the conversion of T4 to the active T3, which happens in the liver, and managing that fat and protein metabolism in the liver. So if the liver's backed up, now the liver is being affected by the spike protein, which is making people not able to break down fat. So you might have a fatty meal, get nauseous. That's a sign that your liver is overwhelmed. Then the excess estrogens build up, further contributing to fatigue, weight gain, hormonal imbalances. The endotoxins in the gut are another problem. So the processed foods, the linoleic acid, excess estrogens can wreak havoc on your gut, lowering cellular energy production and carbon dioxide levels. This creates a breeding ground for bad bacteria that release endotoxins when they die, which messes up your mitochondria even more, leading to fat gain. So once you eliminate these toxins and improve mitochondrial function and your gut health improves, then you can start eating some of the complex carbs that are good for you on the accelerated food guide. Make sure you refer to that guide for the good foods, bad foods, and target the healthy foods that you should actually stay away from. But you don't want to eat those complex carbs if you have endotoxins and a leaky gut. It will make the situation worse. Spike protein, like I mentioned, so it messes with the ACE2 enzyme receptor in your liver, causing a buildup of angiotensin 2, and this can lead to water retention, insulin resistance, oxidative stress, inflammation, hormonal imbalance, leaky gut, histamine intolerance, increased oxalate and amyloids in the body. So away from eating oxalates and amyloids, you are going to actually increase that burden in your body just from the spike protein and reduce detox pathways. So all of this is going to lower your metabolism, increase fatigue, and increase the fat gain. And it's also going to accelerate aging, oxidative stress, and inflammation. They are pathways to accelerate that aging. We are all exposed to the spike protein. So can we get away from it? No. What you have to do is take in supplements and diet to manage it. This is where I like the Ceramend, which is serapeptase. And you can also use the accelerating iodine. That will help mitigate the issues with the spike protein. Copper deficiency, people don't think about copper. Copper is a huge part of fat fat loss. It's also a huge part of energy. And it's for those people that are anemic and thinking that all they need is more iron. That's not true. Most people have enough iron in their bodies. They need the copper to open the door to let the iron get to where it needs to go. The iron's there. It's just in all the wrong places. Processed food and the spike protein have accelerated the depletion of copper in our bodies. And that's crucial for managing uric acid levels, which is connected to insulin resistance and weight. Copper blocks the polyol pathway, which converts glucose into sorbitol and fructose. So without enough copper, uric acid levels rise, increasing insulin resistance, increasing fatigue, causing unexplained weight gain. And copper also helps regulate triglycerides and liver fat, manage those iron levels, reduce oxidative stress, and lower the risk of insulin resistance. So that is where the copper comes in. So what do? We first want to address the supplements. That is the best way to get a head start. So you start feeling good, fixing that foundation. So then you have the mental energy and motivation and the physical energy to combat the fatigue. Then you can start changing the lifestyle hacks. If you can't get out of bed in the morning, telling you to go for a jog is not going to do any good, right? You've got to feel that energy. When I first went to my mentor and I had hit my rock bottom, he said, Sara, we're going to first fix your foundation, your physical energy, and then we're going to address your mental health. And that's what we did. We started with supplements. He gave me something I could do. And then that fixed my appetite. My cravings for sugar went away. Why? Because you're craving sugar because your body's saying, I need more energy, and that's quick energy. But if your body's getting the energy, the cravings start going away. So iodine. So if you're like most people, you're probably not getting enough. 96% of the United States is iodine deficient. That statistic was from like 20 years ago. I would bet that about 99% are deficient in iodine. So you're dropping your ATP production. This is number one. It is so basic because you can increase your cellular energy, you can increase the cell membrane's health, and you can increase the cleansing of the liver and the blood to get rid of all of these things that are slowing you down. So it helps with thyroid function. It helps produce the hormones T2, T3, and T4. 2, 3, and 4 stand for molecules of iodine. How do you have thyroid hormones without iodine? You just don't. When people say they're allergic to iodine, you're not allergic to iodine. You're allergic to something that was in the last supplement that you took with that iodine, or the iodine was toxic. That is what your body cannot survive without iodine. Modern diets often lack sufficient iodine, and even the iodized salt doesn't meet our needs, and also they're filled with microplastics. So that is one thing. So it's essential for thyroid. It also boosts your ATP, but it helps with the cellular detox, cleansing the cells of heavy metals, toxins, radiation, and helping with that energy, mitochondrial function. Iodine also, when you take it in high doses, it helps remove the fluoride, chlorine, and bromide from the cells. Go back to chemistry class. They're all in the halogen column. So if you don't have enough iodine, those little receptor sites for iodine are going to be filled with these toxins, fluoride, chlorine, and bromide, that look like it. Bromide is one of the 12 deadliest toxins in the world. It's illegal in Europe for a reason. I don't know why it's legal in the United States still. But this is also what happens is when you have plenty of iodine in the body, it prevents toxic overload, prevents the new toxins to bind to those cell receptors. So it's essentially saying, nope, no room for you. You keep going, get down the pathway. Let's detox you and get you out of the body. And iodine may reduce the damage caused by the spike protein, which is essentially very strongly linked to mitochondrial damage, exhaustion, and metabolic slowdown. It cleanses the blood and supports liver detoxification, helps regulate estrogen, promoting that hormonal balance. I've heard of women coming out of menopause and getting their periods again. I've heard of women with really tender breasts saying it's gone. I've heard women say their menopausal symptoms are going away with the iodine. So many positive feedbacks when it comes to hormonal balance. So acceleradine iodine, this little tiny bottle, is the only iodine that is pure, natural, singlet active iodine, I minus. So go back to chemistry class again, which means, and it's suspended in alcohol, enhanced with scalar frequencies, but that I minus means that it is looking for those cell receptor sites. It is looking to be absorbed. It does not need to get broken down like other supplements. Most iodine supplements are attached to another molecule, and your weak body that's probably hypothyroid has to break it apart to use that iodine. So only about 10 to 20% is absorbed. But acceleradine gives you a much bigger absorption rate. Okay, accelerated fast. This is the new improved formula replacing accelerated keto. You do not need to be on a ketogenic diet or a high-fat diet to benefit from accelerated fast, but the ingredients in this supplement enhance ATP production, improve it, supports the energy, weight loss, and liver health, cleanses your liver on a daily basis, and it reduces fatty liver, detoxifies your system, and it's crucial for converting that T4 into the active T3. So you're getting that energy. Your body is learning to tap into its own fat stores. So what then happens is that ATP production goes up. Okay, I don't need to eat quite yet, but I'm not stressing out. I'm not getting that stress from intermittent fasting because that can be a stressor. My body says, I've got plenty of energy. So then you don't need to crave any sugar, right? So the ingredients help with the cravings for sugar, increase that ATP, and so you're able to just rely on your fat stores. Now, does this mean you need to be on a low carb diet? Depends on where you are on your journey of resetting your insulin resistance. So if you're high in insulin resistance, sugar is going to cause the foot to stay on the gas pedal. If you take a lot of the sugars out, then it's relieving that a little bit. I always say you want to focus on that protein, eat the protein first, satisfy your hunger, then add in the whole fruits and vegetables on the accelerated food guide to help support your energy. This will help. The accelerated fast helps optimize the thyroid hormone conversion. It helps prevent the metabolic slowdown. So you're actually going to target that visceral belly fat, and it helps also maintain that muscle mass. You definitely want to support your protein as you're doing it. Accelerated thyroid. Like I said, for energy, you need to address your thyroid. And this is a comprehensive natural thyroid supplement, helps support thyroid function, and it combines Eastern medicine with the crucial nutrients and peptides from the grass-fed thyroid glandular to help comprehensively help with your thyroid and whole endocrine system. It helps with fatty liver, wound healing, bone health, helps your mood. It helps. I've had so many people come to me saying, Sara, my depression's going away just from the iodine in the accelerated thyroid. So we also enhance it with scalar frequencies to help clear emotional and physical shock, support overall thyroid health, and detox the body or the thyroid from the halogens, heavy metals, and radiation. Nuke No More drops. I talked about the damages of radiation. This is a scalar frequency charged Ormus formula designed to remove the harmful non-ionizing and ionizing radiation, including the EMS from your smartphone, smart meters, 5G, protecting the mitochondrial health and ATP production. So you just do 12 drops under your tongue right after your first dose of the acceleradine iodine, and it tastes like water. So it's super easy for anyone to take. The accelerated cellular detox powder. So we are detoxing ourselves from the iodine, from the accelerated silver, from the Nuke No More. This will help stoke up those toxins, get them out of your body really fast. And I love the fact that it now has chitosan, which helps with taking excess cholesterol and fat from your diet out of your body quickly. It has activated charcoal, triphala, diatomaceous earth, and micronized zeolite. And then, of course, embedded with scalar frequencies to remove the heavy metals, radiation, pesticides, food poisoning. It's great to take on trips or have, before and after you are going to go out to a restaurant. You don't know what the ingredients are. Really important. Okay. My new favorite device, I keep talking about it, the Hiwi Microgen. It has so many programs for hypothyroidism, for chronic fatigue, for adrenal balance, for kidney balance, and for stress, anxiety, sleep, all of the things that are affecting your energy. It has 60,000 different programs. You can also use it for pain and detoxification. So those are the supplements, the devices. One last one I forgot to mention, accelerated ancient salt. You cannot have energy without your electrolytes. Your electrolytes are your cellular energy. It helps with the sodium potassium pump inside and outside of the cells, and the iodine sodium transporter, very important. If you missed my episode with Dr. Brownstein on salt, go back and listen to it. It is the foundation of health. I've talked to experts and he would agree, if you could only have 2 or 3 things to survive on, it would be iodine, salt, and water. That's how basic it is. If you're going to do an extended fast, you cannot do it without iodine and salt. Cut out the coffee, cut out whatever you want, but you don't cut out your iodine and salt. Okay, so what do you eat? You need that protein. Prioritizing protein. Protein boosts mitochondrial health. It builds and repairs the mitochondria. They form the outer and inner membranes in the matrix where vital biochemical reactions occur. And it also enhances energy production. Protein acts as an enzyme driving the citric acid cycle, the Krebs cycle, and the electron transport chain, which produces ATP. Enzymes like NADH, dehydrogenase, and cytochrome C oxidase are crucial for converting nutrients into energy, and the amino acids from protein intake are vital for creating new mitochondrial proteins. It supports mitochondrial biogenesis, like the proteins like PGC, AR1 alpha help create the new mitochondria. It also influences hormones like insulin and growth factor. Take your blood sugar before you eat and then have some protein and take your blood sugar again. It might actually go down. Mitochondria produce reactive oxygen species as byproducts of ATP production. Antioxidant proteins like superoxide dismutase and glutathione neutralize the ROS, protecting the mitochondria. So it's very important, helps improve overall cellular function. You want to focus on those wild animal proteins, bison, lamb, deer, elk, wild fish. Stay away from the amyloid proteins. What are amyloid proteins? They're misfolded proteins found in chicken, conventionally raised beef, pork, even turkey. Those don't get broken down. Your body can't use them. They get stuck in tissues in your brain, cause these Alzheimer's, dementia, which are going through the roof in the rates of Alzheimer's and dementia, and causing gut pathogens to take over in your gut. So then what you want to do is you want to use the accelerated food guide to focus on the vegetables and fruits that are optimal, right? We want to avoid certain foods. We want to avoid the amyloids. We want to avoid the processed foods. Processed foods don't just not give us energy. They steal energy from us. They limit ATP production. They create excess waste, halting mitochondrial biogenesis, overwhelming your body's cleanup efforts. And this will give you less energy, more fatigue. Then you're going to want to eat more, thinking you're getting more energy from food, but you don't. And that food just gets stored as fat. You want to eliminate the PUFAs, the polyunsaturated fats, especially linoleic acid found in the processed foods, fried foods, seed oils. They're detrimental to mitochondrial health. They lead to fatigue. These fats are prone to becoming inflammatory compounds. They're very unstable. and they damage the mitochondria, impair ATP production, also inhibit the fatty acid beta oxidation, making your body less efficient at using fat for fuel, even from the healthy fats. They are the safflower, grapeseed, sunflower, canola oil, peanut oil, all of those. You want to avoid the sulfur-rich vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, kale. They can overload your detox pathways, slowing down ATP production, causing chronic fatigue, causing water retention, so many things. ATP is going to go down. They're also in medications and supplements like glutathione, NAC. Make sure you're watching out. You want to eliminate the oxalate-rich foods, spinach, almonds. They can slow down thyroid function, cause brain fog, cause fatigue, and slow ATP production and metabolism. Those foods also are going to, they love the thyroid. The oxalates are little like toothpicks that love getting stuck in the thyroid. Reduce the histamine-rich foods. They are going to make everything worse. The spike protein has caused histamines to become worse for everybody. So you may not have had issues before, and now you do. This will help by eliminating these foods, regulate insulin, boost overall energy production. So like I said, refer to the accelerated food guide. It's on the website and it's free. Why not, right? Okay, what else can you do? You want to reduce those wrong estrogens coming from the xenoestrogens in the environment, the microplastics. Our pans, Hexclad, I'm actually going to name it. We were told that they were all of the forever chemicals free. Well, they're not. So I just went out and had to buy some new pans. And so they're in our pans, our dishwasher soap, in everything. You really need to look at all the stuff you're putting on and around your body. And mitigate the endotoxins. They are released by harmful bacteria, eating the wrong carbohydrates and processed foods, triggering inflammation, damaging mitochondria, and the mitochondria then will lower the ATP production. Move your body. Get a rebounder, go for a walk, do some high intensity interval training. But like I said, start the supplements so you have the energy to have the motivation to actually go do something, right? And you want to avoid the toxins, pesticides, plastics, fluoridated water. Make sure you know what water filter you have in your house. Chlorine, bromide, heavy metals, that can also damage the mitochondria. Stay hydrated. You got to have the water, iodine, and salt. That's where you get your hydration. And you can also use Ololoa or the quintessential 0.9 for overall electrolyte balance in the cells. Get enough sleep. I had very poor sleep last night, and I can tell you it affects your energy, and it will affect your adrenals. It'll affect your thyroid. It'll affect your immune system. And our bodies, I don't care who you are, you're not Superman or Superwoman. We all need at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And that goes to say we got to manage the stress. The stress depletes the energy, lowers thyroid and metabolism, degrades mitochondrial function. So mindfulness, meditation, relaxation, and then focus on all of these things. It's not just one thing. So hopefully this was helpful. It is very important to address your energy because that is life, that is vitality. So thanks for tuning in today. If you need my help with your health concerns, don't know where to start, feel free to reach out to me at sarabantahealth.com. Happy to put together a protocol for you. Join my free group coaching on Telegram. There is no downside. I share daily tips. I answer your questions. And you will be surrounded by an amazing group of people who are on a similar path. More information is on the website. Of course, don't forget to follow me on social media at Accelerated Health Products. And you can catch this podcast on over 100 platforms, including Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. Just search Accelerated Health TV and Radio Show. I'm on a mission to share my healing message with everyone who's ready to listen and not with those that aren't. So help me with this goal. Share this podcast with a few of your friends who might need my help. Remember, I'm live every Monday and Tuesday. I post a bonus one on Thursdays, and you can use coupon WELCOME10 to get 10% off your first order. Thanks again for joining us here, and have a great week.